then you saw when she had like she had a client in her office, and this client was kind of and about to divorce, I guess, her third husband. And Nicole Kidman did a kind of thing, and her patient saw it, and her patient was like, what, tell me, what is it? Oh, you think it's me? I want to know what you think. And psychologists, it's not their job to tell you what they think about you. They're supposed to help you through your shit.
Right.
So she kind of tells Nicole Kidman's psychologist character, tell me. So she said, I've been seeing you for like a year. You use more discernment when you're buying shoes. You will research, you will check the colors, you'll do all of that. But for some reason, when you meet a good-looking man, pow, you put all of what you want to see in a man into this man, and when the real him shows up, you're disappointed. So that made me think about standards and having conversations with friends. If you have certain standards, like deal breakers, things like kindness, right? I'm not talking about height, right? That's a preference, just so anybody knows. But if one of your standards is kindness, and you meet somebody and their energy is mean,
but he's hitting all, good, he's checking all the other boxes, sweep that dude fast. There is no happiness there, especially with someone who is not kind.
Right.
And kind to you, more importantly.
So if kindness is one of your standards,
well,
right?
It should be everyone. I mean, shouldn't it?
I don't know.
At our age,
some people
look
like
at,
to be treated.
No. Okay, so maybe younger women with other goals and other priorities. But at our age, in our 50s, I mean, we have raised our children. We have seen... some of us, most of us have seen the world. And I honestly think, that at a certain point, I'm happy with the man who is super kind to me and I can't see anyone in our age group that's like, I'll take that wealthy man and it's okay if he shits all over me because he's wealthy. At this point in our lives, that's what no.
Franny, I think you would have to say for you, because there are some women out there that would be like, you know what? I really don't care about kindness and how you treat me, but if they're getting the bag, they might not give a
fuck. Sorry, resolution done, dead, over.
Yeah. Right. So my hair is braided for my resolution. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to start working out again.
Right.
Well, next week, Monday is really when I'm going to start. Like,
right. You know what? Well, no, we'll talk about that later. But, all raw food February is coming. And that's my opportunity to drop at least 15 to 20 pounds. And I'll
get your stomach right.
Exactly. I'll be setting out blasts and getting, everyone all ready and prepared to do it. And we're looking forward to that. But anyway, back to the topic.
Right.
There were a few people that chimed in during the week because we sent out some blasts wanting to know, what what your impression of unconditional love was and, what that meant to you. And we had a few interesting responses. For the most part, women in our age group. One person in particular, she's amazing, and she was like, nah, I'm really not here for the bullshit. I don't want to give what I'm not getting, and I'm too old for it. And there's pretty much like working with someone, giving someone unconditional love that's not giving them that in return. There's no wiggle room there. And she had a point, 100%. I think she was 100% right. But you'll know that person that that's feeling you, and the feeling is mutual, and it won't be, I don't think there'll be any question that that's the person that, that you, even if you wanted to work a little harder or make a few changes, which I think in any relationship is healthy. Some people also answered that they're not changing for anybody. And, it's hard for me to really wrap my head around that answer.
Well, maybe because sometimes change is good, because sometimes we get in our own way. And if somebody, and I'm not saying it happens all the time, but if you meet someone and they're kind of willing to meet you where you are, but say, hey, you should really think about not doing this.
Right.
And like, I really like you enough that I'm going to hang in there, right?
But there are women and men, you know, who 100% feel like, oh, you don't like me the way I am, and they're gone. Standards, right? Versus what? Being picky or being uncoachable or not really here to listen to, you know, good advice. Because what if it's good? What if the changes that are being asked of you are good changes, or are, you know, changes that would not only help you or help the relationship, but help you be a better person. Like in my situation, I'm not a very good listener. You know, I'm not. You know, I find myself, you know, constantly, you know, trying to, you know, unpack and mitigate and answer, you know, all these different questions that aren't even being asked of me. And I don't do a lot of really good active listening, and that's what I'm working on. That's what I will always be working on. And because I know that my love wants me to be a better listener, and I want to be a better listener, and that change is better for both of us. It's better for me, you know, just with work, with in other interpersonal relationships,
with us,
you know,
right?
exactly,
with our children.
Our
you know,
adult
sometimes
children, yeah.
You gave me this advice a long time ago, I think. It was during, I've only been married once, so it was before I got divorced, and, you know, me and my ex-husband were fighting all the time, and we were getting ready to separate and fighting all the time, so I'm calling you, and you're like, Angie, you know, I'm going to need you to do something. I was like, what? She said, I'm telling you, it's going to work. It's going to work. If you do exactly what I say, it's going to work.
What I said.
I was like, what, Franny? I'm on pins and needles. Like, what? She said, shut the up. She said, shut up. Just shut up.
Right.
And let whatever he has to say, don't think that you have to have a response, and B, you know, let that man feel what he feels. And I did. And it made all the difference. I think we stayed together another year after that, but it was done.
It's funny because, you know, Rob and I got into something recently, and he was like, you know, I'm just saying something. Why can't you just listen to me? Like, I'm not talking about everybody else or other situations or whatever. Like, I'm talking about me. And I took, you know, the baby out for a walk. And by the time I got back, I was like, you know what? I'm so sorry. You know, you're right. I want to be here for you. Tell me what you know, talk to me. And we had a really good conversation. And I let all of that other stuff go in regard to, you know, just doing the bigger picture thing.
Right.
Versus, no, I mean, what's important right now is what's going on between him and I, and me being there for him in a way that he needed me to be. And that was it.
So these are illustrations, right, of making small changes, right?
Right.
Nobody's saying do an about face.
Right.
I mean, at 51, almost 52,
Right.
it is impossible for me to do an about face or change or do a somersault, you know, for just about anything, let alone a relationship. I mean, you know, but if it's constructive change, if it's change that's going to make me a better person, then it's something I should consider. You know, the one thing that I think a lot of people don't have any problem with is getting in their own way. So at my age, when we talk about my age, so this is our perspective, right, on the other side of 50. This is how me and Franny feel, what we think, you know, and we're going to give you the good, bad, and funny, tell you about our experiences, because, you know, I was married for 16 years, single for 10, 11, and in that singleness, you know, three significant relationships, right? So, and you know, in that time, you know, you learn a few things, especially about yourself. If you're paying attention, you should be learning things about yourself along the way. And I know that I have, and not all good.
Everything is all good with me. So I've learned a lot of, like, everything I've learned about myself is fucking amazing. I'm just saying. No, I'm joking. But standards versus being picky.
So I don't think they're the same. So I was talking about this, and where standards are like, kindness, those are staples, things that you can't change around, because ultimately it's who you are in your core. And if it doesn't mesh with somebody else, like if they're petty, mean, gossipy, and you require kindness, their energy won't sit well with yours.
Right.
It won't be something that you could change, right? Now, pickiness is just a matter of preference and taste, right? If you could be picky because you meet somebody, their fingernails are dirty, right?
Right.
Maybe he had to work on his car in a pinch. Who knows, right? But fingernails could be cleaned.
Right.
They could be
Would you
clean.
literally throw a good man back into the sea? Would you literally send him out of your life, a potential someone good, because he has dirty fingernails? He or she, right? Or, and then, if you unpack what they do for a living, or what if he did have an emergency? Like, whatever the case may be, that can be fixed, that can be corrected, that can be addressed.
Right.
But do you throw away a perfectly good person because of that?
I think so. I posted something, and it was about.
Hey Eric, I want some more too. So go ahead. Thank you.
It was about the woman who she was a real stickler for text messages and text messages, and how I guess dudes responded to her, and he used R and U instead of AREYOU. And she made a judgment about him, like, hey, this is not something that I see me with if you can't even use your words. The truth is, he could have been busy. In text vernacular, it's common, right? It is common. It is the shorthand of today. So I think on this thing I saw, and the guy giving her advice was telling her, like, there's no way to gauge his intelligence by a text. Why don't you pick up the phone and call him?
Right.
But
you literally would not even continue that communication, or even get to know that person further based on him not spelling out the word R and U. Like, sometimes it makes me stop and wonder why
people are dating,
or why, or it makes me wonder why people wonder why they're alone. And standards are amazing, and I think everyone should have them. Fuck that.
Or preferences, right? Your standards, I would hope everybody has that going in.
I mean, I'll start my standards. Being solvent is important. And I say that because I take care of me. There's absolutely and I'm retired. I'm living on a budget, and I still take care of me. So there's absolutely no reason why the man that I'm with should not be able to take care of himself, period.
Right.
I was in situations where, I'll say it out loud. I feel like, opportunists, literally, appreciated me for a lot of different reasons. Because I'm very, to a fault. And I never made tons of money, but I'm my mother's daughter, so I knew how to save it. And my whole thing is like a turtle, slow and steady wins the race. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not a millionaire, but I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I could go buy Alaskan king crab legs tomorrow if I want to. Because, at the end of the day, I mean, and I'm being funny about it, but my whole thing is like, you've got to be prudent. My standards, the man that I love, the man that I my man does, but moving for anyone,
being solvent is important, right?
Being prudent with your money is important.
Right. So I have a 25-year-old daughter. She does her own thing, but I remember it had to be a couple of years ago, they're dating. And that was one of the things I mentioned, like deal breaker, right? financial responsibility.
Right,
and
right.
if that's something that you don't do, so ultimately a guy was like, oh, so you in my pockets, so I don't even know you. Like, not in your pockets, right? Not in your pockets.
That is hysterical.
I know.
You know what I'm
He was
saying?
like, I was like, not in your pockets.
I know what you in my pockets. How about that?
Exactly.
Brother?
And at the time
know
I was
what
like,
I'm
look, I have a 20-year-old that's hustling me. She's in college and all in my pocket. I don't,
That's right.
I don't want to.
Snow crab.
Yeah.
Snow crabs, they just skinny, Alaskan king. But yeah, at the end of the day,
That was so
Sorry,
more
I didn't
no. So moral of the story, right? Don't change your standards, change the person. Right?
Exactly.
Don't change.
That's not
right.
being picky.
Right.
Wanting someone who is prudent with their money so they can take care of themselves is not being picky.
Right.
That is having standards.
Or whatever other thing, right? If it's kindness, right? If it's spiritual or religious, a Christian, just because he said he went to church a couple of times, don't think you could change him. If a Christian or a church on Sunday, God-fearing man is what you want, don't change from that because he looks good and giving you attention. I mean, I've done that. And I feel like in some ways, you kind of get caught up in liking who likes you. And I don't think that ever works. I think you have to have like a foundation. So people say opposites attract. I think that's bullshit. I think opposites do not attract. I think like-minded people do. And so that's my 2 cents. But I do want to do the good, bad, and funny. This none of the standards and changing out the dude. So it's almost like we had 2 things going on this week: standards and would you change for somebody?
Right, and unconditional. Well, we talked about unconditional love as well.
So if somebody said to me, "Look, I like you and everything, but you're gonna have to wear, 6-inch heels all the time."
Right. That is my preference. All my women do, and if you don't, then bye, girl.
So my response would be peace, right? Because I'm not doing that.
See,
I am not wearing.
What if we develop standards within them? We're like, that wasn't there in the beginning. Well, and that's growth. Hey, Selena, that's 100% growth. I don't know anyone who can have the same exact standards in their personal relationship in year 1 that they, and these standards don't evolve, change, or more is not required by year 10. That's just, there's
a reason why kindness is one of my standards, because I had a mean son of a gun. I had somebody who in their spirit was not a nice person. So that evolution, I think that, like you said, it's growth. I think if there used to be a Saturday morning commercial, right? Mighty Mouse or something, I don't know. It was like, or the Justice League, knowing is half the battle or something when they were fighting crime. Well, I think understanding what you don't want, because I want my change, right? But I guarantee
but kindness
the stuff that you don't want, if you know that, that's half the battle.
Right.
Half the battle is won if you know what you don't want, what you won't tolerate, and what you don't like. I think that's super duper easy.
Right. Yeah, so I think I read something like that a long time ago. Like, if you're the same, like, as a person, forget about the relationship and those standards. But if I was the same person that I was 20 years ago, then then what really have I done with the last 20 years of my life?
Yeah, that indicates zero growth.
Right, zero growth, zero self-awareness. And no one got time for that. I've been seeing a therapist now for what, like 10 years, like at least 11 years at this point. And I will say with absolute certainty that it is an amazing experience.
I think more Black people should do it.
Yeah, I do too.
I just think,
agree.
right, to be in this country, or like what James Baldwin said,
last 4 years,
to be a Black person in this country is to always be enraged. I think it's important that, I think if you can do it, if your insurance supports it, see it.
Right.
It never hurt anybody to talk to someone and help compartmentalize or help, them kind of organize, their life, their wants, their, change. Right. If change is going to be a part of it.
And it's so crazy. Like some of the people that commented, like, I ain't changing for anybody. At the end of the day, like, change is a big nut to crack. Like when you understand that change,
comfort zones are called that for a reason.
It's almost like change makes some people angry, mad, even, and reticent to even step outside of themselves. And I think that's I think it's weird. I do. I think it's weird if you.
But what if you've changed? What if you've changed for people? Have you've been that person to say, you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb for this person. I'm gonna do this because I love or because I
people
care.
our age, and then one person in particular.
No, I'm saying that. What if you've done that? So you get to where we're sitting now, like, man, forget that. Never again.
Right.
Never again. I'm not doing it. I don't care who you are. Love me as I am. Period. Point blank. And what do you do then?
I mean, shit, you fucking, you rock it out alone, because at the end of the day, relationships are compromised. It's constantly changing. I mean, I've been in my relationship for almost 2 years, and I can honestly say that, like the things that he tells me he needs today are not the things that he told me he needed last year. The things that my needs are the same.
Well, no.
My needs are the same. I still want the same things. And now, we have an awesome puppy. And so now I'm just super happy. But anyway, moving beyond that. The good, the bad, and the funny.
So good changes that I've made with you.
Yeah, we're better.
I think so too. Well, I mean, me and Franny had serious communication problems. It was like, listen, you're not letting me finish, right?
Right.
Let me finish, right? And I'm finding when I'm in it with somebody,
don't change, adjust. You're right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that, Leonard DeShield. Don't change, adjust. So if you're good with compromise or making the adjustment, you just can't go wrong, because it really shows that you are willing to meet somebody where they are. People say that shit all the time. Oh, I can meet you where you are. I don't think they do. I don't think they even understand what it means, because if they did, I think they'd be better at adjustments. Some people will not make the adjustment. You can say it over and in their face and say, make the adjustment. And, they're like, what are you talking about? And that's terrible. But, sorry. So my good change was changing.
I would say that's my good.
And that change helped me at work too.
Right.
It did. I had to figure out, like, even with my team at work, like, what motivates you? Like for Franny, what motivated Franny was being validated, was being heard. I'm not saying that I'm 100% even now.
Right.
But when I found out that that's what motivated her, I was intentional, right? That word almost comes up every time we talk, but I was intentional. So that was my good. That's my good.
It's important, I think.
What's your good?
Well, my good is exactly what is our relationship, what's going on, with us. I mean, and I'll even say with mommy, I mean, I was going to be married, and I was engaged to the wrong person at the time, and it didn't work out, No, everyone who actually knows me knows that, I owned a home before I sold it a couple of years ago in Freeport. And the most amazing thing about my situation was a month, I was getting my house ready to rent, and a month before my tenants moved in, or a month after my tenants moved in, my ex was like, yeah, why don't you leave, because I don't want to do this anymore. So for me, that just long story short, my house was rented out, and I had to move in with my mom for a few years, and it was contentious, in some areas, things that my mother and I didn't really, connect on. We didn't hash out, in a lot of respects. I'm my father's daughter. And she's her, yeah, right. So that's why but anyway, right. So it took us a little while, and now, my mother is so incredibly important to me. She always has been, but now I just, I understand her, more than I did before. I understand her struggles. I understand her pain. I understand her, and I love her.
The things that she had to kind of do
and overcome, and what she still deals with with the happiness, and that on her face, and the smile, and her spirit being good. And then she caught COVID last year, and it was in the hospital for almost 3 weeks, and we were like beside ourselves, and
she's still kind of having issues. So
yeah, COVID is real, people. I'll say that every time too. COVID is serious and it's real. And so anyway, my mom, I would say that's my good.
What's your bad change?
My bad change, I don't have one.
I do.
I'm fucking amazing.
I do.
Well, maybe you tell me your bad, and it'll jog my memory.
He was like, oh yeah, I want you to take care of me. So I became like June Cleaver, wore myself all the way out. I wore myself out. I was tired.
That is hysterical.
I remember when it was over, and I was like, but I've done all this stuff for you. I've done this. I've done so much. You know what this man said?
Y'all know what he said.
He said, I never asked you to do all of that.
Right. Did I ask you to do all of that?
Yo, all I could do is, you got me. All right. All right. So that terrible change.
Okay, so good, bad. Okay, so I guess my bad would be in the same vein, relationship-wise. To be asked, so to be, for someone to ask you to marry them, and, for them to immediately not want to do that anymore. And then, to literally operate from this position of like, oh, shit, and went on TV and got a goddamn dress. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? And people still to this day.
Oh, I saw you were saying.
Yeah, it's like, but at the end of the day, it was a learning experience, because I will never move forward with someone who just wants to be fake, right, or wants to give me fake love, or wants to, so that's my bad. I'm here to learn from that, and next time, like when I get engaged, chances are no one will know. When I get married, and chances are you'll see me post a picture on our anniversary and be like, to my husband, because that changed me. That definitely kind of
keeps you. It's okay.
Mess with my head,
but it's okay to keep some things closed, right? It's okay to not say everything. Like, I don't say everything. And we're going to talk about this maybe next time, right?
Oh, right.
That being single doesn't mean you're available.
Right.
Right. So we're going to talk about availability and being single, but you single, right? Because you all have seen some of the memes and the things like, hey, you either single or married. But you could be single and in something committed,
and
right?
completely unavailable. Correct. Completely.
So we're gonna talk about that. But ugly.
The funny.
The funny. All right, the funny.
Yeah.
Good, bad, funny. Okay, funny.
I got one.
Okay, you go first.
So, a long time ago, I was in my 20s. I didn't even have my daughter at this point. I met a man. I was driving in my car and met him at a gas station, and we exchanged numbers, and it was like, okay, look, all right, can't wait to see you. So he came to my car So he was tall, good looking, the whole 9 yards. I was like, ooh. So we met for a drink, and I came in, saw him. He was the only person at the bar, so I sat there and I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? He was like, fine. And then I was like, so what are you drinking? Because he didn't even offer me a drink at this point, which I found to be very odd. Like, why? Like, I'm sitting down. Like, why is he not? It's like, what are you drinking? And so I'm like, so, so what's going on with you? He was like, I think I need to tell you something. I'm like, what? He's like, I didn't realize you was so bottom heavy.
Really?
No, yeah. I told you know this.
No, I don't remember. It's like you didn't remember me.
Right. He's like, I didn't realize you was so bottom heavy. So first of all, in my 20s, I was lucky if I was 130 pounds.
I know. I'm looking
anybody,
at you
everybody who knows me knows I've never been bottom heavy in my life. It was crazy, and I was like, "What? Bottom heavy?" He was like, "Yeah, from your neck up, you look like a ballet dancer." I was like, "What?" Like I was shocked. Like I literally was like, "Oh." And I didn't even wait. I didn't even say anything else. I was like, oh, well, you take care. And I got up and I left because it was like, what the fuck? So, yeah, picky. That, does he want to date ballerinas? Okay, maybe that's his standard. But being picky, saying that I, at 130 pounds, was bottom heavy, I was like, yeah, dude, kill yourself. Because, bye. Like, not really kill yourself.
Right,
It's fun.
old
But, yeah, it was like, it's a dub. I was like, yeah, you can go. That's okay. Be well. And I don't even think I said be well. I think I just left. But moving forward, if I ever met someone, I was sitting in my car, I made sure I got out.
Right.
Because, I just didn't want that smoke. I didn't want anybody to be all confused. Anyway, funny. Yeah, funny.
So as it relates to change or standards, right? I don't know if I have
because you're fucking amazing and perfect.
Well, for funny, but dudes aren't.
Well, yeah.
So let's see. Changes that I thought were hilarious. Was somebody like saying, oh, my ex-wife used to do this, and I'm saying to myself, well,
why aren't you still together?
Yeah, like I'm not trying. Like I don't want to take her place.
Exactly.
And I think I've had so many characters. I lived out at the National Harbor when I first got to the D.C. area. And if anybody knows the National Harbor, it's like a lot of restaurants. It's a perfect place to go on dates. So I went on several dates, and it's just been
I
really
loved it when you
funny.
lived at the harbor. It was
too.
so much fun. It was like an amusement park.
They do have a Ferris wheel.
Oh, yeah, they do. And they put all those stupid statues up. It's weird.
I know. Like,
National Harbor is weird right now.
It's too busy. It's too
up with
busy.
all those statues. It's ridiculous.
Not a good look. But I don't really think I have a funny in terms of changes. I mean, I used to kind of do this plastic face, but that used to be for the dude who I was June Cleaver with. That whole, it's okay. Look, it wasn't okay.
You have fun at the moon now.
right. You're like, bitch, I'm going to the moon. I'm like, where are you going? Bitch, I'm going to the moon. Yeah. It's like, that was a Robin Harris joke. Robin Harris was a gem, gone too soon. So I guess that's it. We did good, bad, funny. We talked about standards. We talked about changes.
We were a little late. Sorry about that. But yeah.
That's it. Oh, this was fun. We didn't talk at all, so this made it more fun, I think. We're never going to talk again before we do this.
I know.
So that it's really kind of, I don't know, organic.
But no, it's kind of fragmented too. I kind of wish we did kind of have a little conversation, but
I don't.
You were traveling today, so I gave you a pass.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Love you.
Love you more.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Bottom heavy. Could you believe that?
No, not bottom heavy at all. I mean, if anything, we wanted, being bottom heavy is something that we would have loved to be.
I mean, seriously, back then, before my daughter, before Cameron,
we were like,
I was
120.
Yeah.
I mean, 5'10-ish.
5'10-ish
and 125.
I mean, and in the military, and working out and all that. It was awesome.
Well, I was terribly small.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. We're going to do this again. We don't know if we're going to talk about texting versus talking or available, but not really, right? Single versus available. But, you know, we'll put it out there. Maybe.
I'm a texter to the core. Like, well, I'll talk now because, you know, me and my man talk every day. But at the same time, before that, it was like text.
I remember.
Yeah, people like, why are they calling? You know, it always be like, what the
I mean, I was so weird at one point with texting that I told the guy, "Hey, do you mind?" He wanted to call before a date. I think I was like, "Do you mind if we don't talk until the date?"
Right.
That crazy. I was psycho with the texting.
Talking was crazy. I mean, I would break out into a sweat when my phone rang. Like,
yeah. Not good. Okay.
No.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Oh wait. Do it here. Oh wait, that's not it.
I don't know.
That is ridiculous. That's it. Yes. Bye, everybody.